I saw they only have 3 skills right now. Also, you cannot assign your own name. Random one.
I cannot believe you just skipped past Busi.
I saw that, and I immediately registered it as I clicked the button.
You are
Smalley on Nick.
You are unbelievable. You know we have to keep clicking through so you get Busi again,
yeah,
right?
that's the thing. Oh, they have Lawrence. That's like a meme in SASCOM. Is this list randomized, or is it like on a repeating loop, is the question. Oh, I saw Nichols twice. Morris, Zoo, Porter, Yadav. I'm gonna click past it again. I'm so nervous.
When you're editing this, you need to put a timer in the corner so we know how... Oh, you skipped it twice!
I'm dumb.
Unbelievable.
Yanchi, Fisher, Larson.
Well, he tries to read the names and not click past it. I do want to point out, I did mention editing, because Primo now edits his videos.
Oh yeah.
It is fantastic.
It means that videos are going to take a lot longer to come out, because the process of editing is very arduous and slow and not instantly gratifying, but it does make for better videos, which I want.
I don't think that they're that concerned about your upload schedule.
I think they are, but I think they realize it's kind of out of their control.
I'll stay on top of him. We'll see what happens.
You'd better. There's Nichols for like the 3rd time.
McFarlane.
I'm ready to like smack my mouse away when I see there's Lawrence again.
Every time I think about Nichols, especially recently, when I was 4, the ripe young age of 4, we had renovations going on in our house, and part of those renovations is the electrical work. Behind every single outlet in your home, there is an electrical box. Those electrical boxes are just metal boxes that have little punch-out holes to route different conduit in, to route your wires. But in those punch-out holes is a little metal circle. And 4-year-old me was obsessed with those nickels. I wanted money, and I wanted money desperately. So I was tearing through the construction zone looking for nickels, to my parents' dismay. And I collected an entire plastic bag of it, and very proudly brought them to school with me. Or I guess preschool, it was 4. Brought them to preschool with me to show the other children my nickels, which of course they looked at them and thought, those aren't nickels. They're little just metal slugs. But they are precious to me, but not nearly as precious as some of the other collectibles I have maintained from school. Yamazaki, Armin, Al Fisher, Dushu.
Do you want to explain to people why you probably sound weird, by the way?
I don't sound weird. I sound classic, okay?
You sound like you're from the 1920s, not the 2020s.
So I may have picked up a new project
Is
recently.
someone messaging me on Steam?
Me. It is me on my phone. I guarantee you that someone's messaging you on Steam.
Okay, I need to check this. What do you want, Ink? BC, I'm recording right now.
We're recording right now.
Thank you, Ink. Shout out to Ink, who is recording right now.
So I picked up a project of turning a old rotary phone from, I believe, the 60s, even earlier than the 80s, into a microphone. And for those of you at home who think that sounds crazy, it's actually one of the easiest projects you can ever take on. There are 2 sides to the phone. There's a side that you hear people from, and there's a side that you talk into. And the part that you turn into a microphone is the part that you hear people from. And that is because of, in the simplest of terms, the amplifier for the speakers. The little bit that makes it sound loud also makes the microphone sound loud when you use it. And since speakers and microphones are 2 Ps of the same pod, if you run 2 wires into it, and run it to an output, you get a microphone. That sounds fantastic, in my unprofessional opinion.
Oh, Bay is one of the names you can choose.
That is a good secondary option, but we absolutely cannot get to that one.
I need Busi. That's gonna get clipped out of context. I saw it. I haven't seen it in the last probably like 100, 200 names. Which means Gambler's Fallacy. Surely I'm gonna get it soon. There's Fisher for like the 4th time.
Alright, everyone put your bets in. Is he going to get it, or is he going to skip it again?
Ninja Kiwi should not have given me the option to use this random name feature.
Let me flash the guy mining for diamonds onto the screen.
Oh my god.
I will say that the first impression...
Found it.
Amazing.
Oh my god, final. Okay, I don't even want to see, like, I don't even know if I want to choose Medic, but I feel like if I click to a different character, it's going to randomize the name again, so we're going with Medic.
Medic is the best character. I don't know what you're talking about.
Medic is the best.
I definitely do prefer UIs that have more stuff around the screen, but I don't know. There's a little bit too much in your face while you're playing.
I'm not going to look for Busi again, I promise.
I don't believe you.
I just want to find a good one. I have a few good ones in mind. I skipped past small. I should have chosen small.
Chin small. They're just insulting.
Oh, well, if it's just going to give it to me, okay.
By the way, you can safely switch characters without the name changing.
Oh yeah, so you can.
Or anything either.
I want the blue hair person, and it's time once again.
Where are my microtransactions?
This is going to be a paid game. We don't know how much. If it's probably going to be similar to BTD6, so like maybe $5 mobile, $10 Steam.
$60 AAA game.
So I don't think there's inevitably going to be microtransactions, but I don't think there's going to be nearly as many as in SAS. And hopefully that also means the grind will be a lot less awful. And hopefully we'll be less reliant on exploits.
I'm gonna say, I don't think my problem with the SAS 4 grind, that I never did, by the way, the SAS 4 grind wasn't the difficulty of it, because it does take quite a bit of time. But if you really like the gameplay loop, then there's not too much of an issue with it. But like you mentioned, the only thing that made it pretty tolerable was exploitation.
Yeah, like re-rolling, time skipping. If you don't play without those, then like getting to level 100 is really annoying. Getting black items is basically impossible. I think I literally ran the numbers, and you would have to play Nightmare. You'd have to play all 5 games every day for about 2 years straight to get all the endgame items you need. And that's on average. It could very easily take much longer.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the... I think Candy Crush Saga is what really popularized it. But it was the time-based life systems where you have to wait a certain amount of time in order to play again, or spend money to play again. That's kind of what Nightmare Mode was. Nightmare Mode was superior to regular SAS 4 mode, but because you had to wait an entire 24 hours to play again, it turned into kind of like a daily check-in game. I just don't enjoy that as much. I'd rather that the game has other modes for microtransactions, which are 100% part of every game today, as much as we joke about it and hate it. I do believe that they're kind of a necessary evil to an extent, but the real life time-based speed-up payments that games will center around are not my favorite, especially because I don't like spending money on those kinds of games either. So I have to wait an entire 24 hours to play more Nightmare Mode, or show up late to my next meeting because I changed the time zone in my phone.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of discussion. There historically has been a lot of discussion about like how to fix Nightmare Mode. I'm not even sure if I like it as a game mode. just because it's so much... Well, I like it as a game mode, but I don't like how disproportionate the loot you get is compared to regular mode. Like, I think SAS 4 had a lot of power creep that was kind of just, like, forgotten about, because regular mode is, like, so pathetic at everything that there's just no reason to play it ever. And I think the way you really... I just went past it. The way you really make Nightmare mode better is by making everything else better, so Nightmare isn't, like, the only game mode to play.
Well, and I'd heard the murmurs of a potential campaign mode. Do you think that's realistic?
I don't know. Making in-depth maps has always been, like, difficult. Like, Ninja Kiwi in all of SAS 4 history added 3 new maps after the game came out with the initial 7, which were Ice Station and Meltdown on Flash, and then Recovery on mobile and Steam. Making those maps and, like, all the required, like, scripted events and extra artwork and whatever is very, like, long and arduous process. So I don't think having a campaign mode is something that they really have the time for. And I think it could potentially fit in. I think the SAS universe does have, like, some kind of overarching story to it, but it's not very, like, well thought out or connected, and it doesn't have a lot of work done on it. I've seen lots of people talk about the lore of the game, and there's, like, so little information that Ninja Kiwi gives us that people have to make, like, leaps and bounds to, like, fill in the... Calling them just blanks isn't really doing it justice. There's, like, little islands of, like, lore in an ocean of, like, absence of lore. So I don't think I've heard anything about them doing a campaign mode, but they also haven't told us much of anything. Would I like a campaign mode? Maybe. I think there's some potential there, but I think it would take a lot of dev time that I think might be better used elsewhere. I'd skip past it again, goddammit.
I think in recent history, the game to me that it had the same vibes to me as SAS 4 was GTFO, which quite literally is a multiplayer shooter.
When did you play that?
I have purchased it. I have put 1 hour into it. However, I have consumed multiple hours of content of GTFO. And it's fantastic. There's story if you want it, and you can kind of ignore it if you don't. But there's a lot to GTFO that reminded me, well, zombie and shooter. You know, it's pretty easy to draw the parallel. But despite being a very different game, I think something along that level being considered for a game like this could be nice. Difficulty, spikes, lore, different missions you can run through, objectives in those missions, that kind of thing. But obviously still staying its own thing. The SAS 4 gameplay loop was not entirely flawed, but as Primo mentioned, the only thing really worth playing was Nightmare mode, and eventually the contracts were pretty fun as well. I enjoyed those. Contracts
were, like, crazy broken for XP. They were, like, 5 times faster than literally anything else.
Yeah, and having the contracts in mind, building levels around those contracts, in the sense of, like, multiple contract-type events in one level, and extending the time that you're in one game could be interesting. But these are all completely speculative, and I also highly doubt that this is going to happen for... What are we calling this? Czar?
We are at 50 minutes of recording. I don't even want to know how big this file is. I think we should call it here. Do we have any closing thoughts?
Busi.
Best name ever.